Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1.
Houston, we have a problem.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue.
What you're seeing here is a mirage.
What's going on, everyone? It's Jaron from Jeranism back with another live video for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Thursday, so it's time for another interview or a presentation-style live stream. I think you'll enjoy today's guest as well as the topic. For me, it's become quite clear in my journey towards truth that one of the largest, if not the largest scam and problem in our world is, without much doubt at all, Big Pharma and the robbing of our health. I mean, our health and well-being should be our number one focus. I think that they need to be. They're essential to happiness. And once we're healthy, only then can we begin to navigate through the rest of the lies that basically litter the path on our journey towards truth. And as we know in this time that we're in now, lies are everywhere. So the title of today's video presentation is The Truth About CBD, Big Pharma Lies, Government Cover-Ups, and How to Take Control of Your Health. My guest today is Al Morentin. He is the owner and founder of MyFitLife, which is a premier holistic health and wellness company since 2011. After going blind due to glaucoma, he used cannabis oils to get his vision back, and then he founded Movida in 2016. And Movida is a holistic wellness brand. It produces high-grade CBD and superfoods that are for those of us looking to achieve vibrant health naturally, of course, without the use of pharmaceuticals or harmful medications. And Al has basically dedicated his life to spreading the good word about alternative holistic therapies, and will continue to do so with the many therapeutic benefits of cannabis. And I know many people who listen to this show agree with that a lot. He's a holistic health practitioner for 30 years. He's also got a book, which you can find down in the description. He was the author of Better Living with Whole Foods, which is currently found on Amazon. Also the creator of a 21-day reset plan called AWOL, a Way of Life programs, and also is a competitive powerlifter with a few records and championships. So it's awesome to have him join us. His links are all in the description, his email, YouTube, website, all that's down below. I'm happy he's joining me. Al, welcome to Jeranism. How are you, my friend?
Doing great, Jaron. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you. I mean, you're talking my language when you start saying that we've been lied to by Big Pharma, that there's better ways to stay healthy. One of the things that, I've come across in my truth journey, if you want to call it that, has been the importance of eating healthy, of being healthy, and, not taking an Advil when I have a headache, but actually looking into why I have a headache, not just taking a Tylenol, just really searching for the truth outside of Big Pharma's lies and government cover-ups, of course. So I also see you did speak at the Question Everything conference, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's awesome. I know quite a few people that were there, of course, those who run it, and yeah, I think it was a great conference. So happy that you are here, and really, I'm hoping that you can talk to us a little bit about CBD. I don't know much about it. I do know a little bit, and have used it with my dog. Actually has seizures, and CBD has been instrumental in really protecting her from that. So that's pretty much what I know about it, but I'm interested to know what you think, and I guess probably what people want to know to start off, and I understand why. And by the way, I'm sharing your screen now so you can show whatever you want. But tell me what your feelings are on the current situation with everything going on with coronavirus. What's your thoughts there? I'm sure people would want to know.
Okay, so it really ties into what our company is and what we've been striving to achieve, and the message we've been putting out for years, for decades, really. And a quote that I mentioned at the Question Everything conference was, "The way to control a society is to keep it in a constant state of sickness and disease." The way to control a society is to keep it in a constant state of sickness and disease. Okay. Right. And that's been happening pretty much since the early 1900s, and it's accelerated, drastically now with this coronavirus. And no matter how it came about, man-made, from a bat, whatever, if it's bacteria, if it's a virus, the grand plan is being set in place right now. and it's really terrible what's going on. And nobody's talking about immune system or anything to fight this thing off, right? Because people who have strong immune systems are known to not, have any effects of this thing, of the virus. And the way to overcome any kind of sickness and disease is to actually, get healthy and strengthen your immune system naturally without the use of pharmaceuticals or harmful medications.
Well, I'm definitely in the camp that, I have a hard time believing anything that the mainstream says or anything that they're telling me to be afraid of. But one of the reasons that I have the ability just to shun it off and say, well, it's not, I'm not worried about it. The reason that I've actually gone out to these protests in Sacramento the last 2 times to protest that the, state should be opened again, that that the economy should be opened again, is because I simply don't believe the lies. But another reason is because I think health is most important. And by really being healthy and having a good immune system and eating whole foods, kind of like your book shows. And real quick, I'll show that just so people can see your book on Amazon, which is called, here we go, bring that up, Better Living with Whole Foods, which is something I completely agree with. The delicious and nutritious guide to looking great and feeling younger. But I think that is what's important. I've talked about it a million times, planting your own garden, drinking fruit smoothies, things like that to really give you that natural health, not anything outside that. And when you have a good immune system, then you know what? You are immune to those whatever's out there that people think is out there. I mean, I'm certainly somebody who doesn't believe a lot of the hype. Are people dying? Well, maybe, but I think people die all the time. And again, those who have the best immune system are the ones that outlast, these sicknesses and illnesses. So, okay, back to, and I'm just showing real quick your site, just real quick. It's movitaoils.com. So if people are interested after hearing this presentation today in anything, you can go to Movita Oils and get what you need. But I'm interested to hear about CBD and what you think is important about it and how it's helped you in your life. So go ahead. I have your screen being shared.
Okay, so first off, one of the things we have to do is to, before we start any kind of presentation, we have to make this disclaimer. Movita and our sister company, Pure Health Defenders, do not claim to diagnose, treat, or cure any illness or disease with any of our products or programs. So
yeah, you got to say
this
that.
Yes. So this is a big deal here, and this is from Big Pharma, right? This is FDA, FTC regulations that prevent us from making any kinds of claims because Big Pharma are the only ones that are able to say that they cure anything. You can, right. Even if you have 10,000 people and documented proof that your supplements or herbs or whatever cure this disease or whatever, then you cannot say that it does that, or you can go to jail.
Right. So only if you're in the big pharma families can you get away with saying that your pills cure. So
yeah.
And when those are the ones that are keeping people sick and keeping people, just masking symptoms, it's hilarious that is what is considered curing disease. Great. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then one of the things with that too is like with our stuff, with our products, we don't really cure things. We just put your body into balance so it'll function properly, and whatever kind of disease process that you manifest, it will just take care of itself because your body is able to function properly. So that's all we do.
Good.
So before we get started, though, I want to thank those of you that are viewing this. Thank you all for attending the presentation. And, thank you to Jaron for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's great. I heard about you, that you spoke at the Question Everything conference. And like I said, I was interested in CBD. So it's good that I reached out and just said, hey, do you want to come on the show and talk a little bit about it and teach me? Because it's something that I need to know more about. So I'm very interested to hear what you got to say.
Okay, so real quick, I'm going to read our mission statement because in the past, people actually thought it was a little harsh, but today it rings true. And one of the things when you're doing research, you need to understand where that person comes from and what his actual root beliefs are, right? Because just having somebody say they want to produce good food and do good in the world, you have to dig deeper and find out what that means, because that doing good in the world and providing better food might be genetically modified organisms, genetically modified foods, which are very harmful. So you always need to do that. Just because someone says they want to do good, they're not always doing good, right?
Absolutely.
So our mission statement is, at Movida, we know that people are suffering needlessly because of a healthcare system that has failed us and corporate giants that choose profits over people. We understand that good health is attainable through simple changes in the way we move and the way we eat. We have created products and protocols to help you get healthy, think clearly, gain confidence, and build your immune system naturally without the use of pharmaceuticals or harmful medications, so you can have the energy, motivation, and confidence to take on the day. So that's who we are as a company, and that's what we provide for people. One of the things, so this is the topic of our discussion: stop the confusion, the truth about CBD, and basically the truth about holistic health and wellness. There's lots of confusion out there, lots of questions, and that's awesome, right? People are questioning things more than ever because of the situation that the world's in right now, and it's a good thing. I think it's going to start backfiring. They're trying to do a lot of harm to us, but it's making more people question things, and more people wake up, which is really awesome.
Yeah, no, that's important to have people start looking into things themselves. And one of the questions I've had is I've seen a lot of sites that claim to be holistic, or they claim to be for your well-being, like you said, but they still promote GMOs and non-organic stuff. So is everything that you push, your superfoods, all that stuff, the CBD, is all non-GMO?
Yeah, it's all non-GMO, beyond organics. It's what we call biodynamic farming principles, things of that nature.
Okay, good.
And that sort of ties into our next slide about like who I am. That makes a big deal, and in CBD and in holistic health, there's especially in CBD, though, there's a lot of the people that own the companies, they're not holistic health practitioners, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to be something else, like a welder or a teacher or a psychologist, and they think, they see that CBD has, there's money in it, and they start the company and they'll hire some people, but they don't really have any experience. They have good intentions, but with health, good intentions can actually get you in trouble, because if your product isn't good and do what it says it can, then people that depend on it could actually, get sicker and even die. So there's a great responsibility with having a health and wellness company, and most people don't understand that. I do. I've been in this for 34 years, since 1987, and I've owned, several companies, wellness companies. I had a wellness facility for 28 years, and I worked directly with the public and have helped them to, overcome and manage a variety of conditions, right? And I'm in it. I have athletic experience too. I've gone through injuries, and I have the client experience, tens of thousands of people that have gone through me, in front of me, and I've seen the different kinds of healing crisis that people go through, and have learned to help people manage through that, which is a big deal. Most people don't have that. And the main thing about me is I'm what they call patient zero for the company. I have glaucoma and I have migraines. And I was told when I was in sixth grade that I had the markers for glaucoma, and I was going to go blind one day, and because there was no cure. And then fast forward to 30 years old, and they said, you have glaucoma and you're going to go blind one day. There's no cure. And I'm 54 now. So it took me 17 years to figure out, right, what's going on. So to create the first CBD product that would help me to stop the glaucoma. I eventually did go blind, and I got my vision back with cannabis oils, right? I figured out how to do that. And then once I did that, I started the company so I never go blind again, so I always have access to oils. And I have 7 more years of development and refinement to create the 4 product lines that are available on our website today. Because so I know how frustrating it is to look for a wellness solution. I could not find one, even though I was helping people with my other company, My Fit Life, and helping them to overcome things with food and other kinds of supplements. There was something missing, and it was the CBD. It's what I call it, the missing link to vibrant health and mental clarity. Okay. So, so Movida was started out of necessity for me, and it's sustained by our community, just because, right? So this is actually from our website. This is who we are and what we do for people. Just improve health, help them gain confidence, and strengthen their immune system naturally, right? So, we produce, high-grade CBD superfoods, for those that want to achieve that vibrant health naturally. And there are plenty of people out there, that they understand pharmaceuticals, and medications are harmful and they do more detriment than good, if any at all, right? And there is natural solutions.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that don't recognize that. I mean, there's still people, I had to deal with it with my parents and with my sister, that still feel like whenever possible they need to fall back on the use of pharmaceuticals and harmful medications. And my mom passed away at 66 years old and was a pretty healthy person, but one thing she did a lot of was take a lot of medications. That whatever doctor told her to take a medication, she would take it. She got her flu shot every year. And touted it like it was she was the picture of health. And she passed away just this past November at the age of 66. Pretty sad to see. And when you go back and you think about all the things that you tried telling her, it's just sad. I mean, there's, you're not going to change people's minds, but hopefully people see that the using of these pharmaceuticals is not helping anybody. It's just masking symptoms and making them sicker.
Yeah, that's definitely a big deal, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And one of the things that's really interesting too is when I wrote the book back in 2006-7, and it was published in 2008. There was a big movement for superfoods and organic that had started right around the late 90s. And I was a big part of that and putting things out there and, educated a lot of people and about how to just go promote that. And it was a big movement. And I sort of set back a little bit and, just watched it sort of grow. And then it's sort of fizzled out a little bit. And there are these younger generation, like the teenagers and under, and even some 20-year-olds, they have been sort of misinformed and misled again. And they're sort of in that same boat that your mom was in, where they believe that the only way out is pharmaceuticals and medications. And they need to be educated or else they're in for a world of hurt.
Yeah.
So and that's one of the reasons why I do these talks, so they could be educated on and start. They know how to research. They grew up with computers and everything, and they know how to do the research. And once they hear another side of things, then they'll go do that research, and then they could figure things out for themselves and come to their own conclusions, and not just have this one-sided media truth being that quote unquote truth being shoved down their throats, right?
Yeah, and I just think that, really for me, I think that the, Creator put us here with all the answers that we need around us in foods, in vegetables, in natural health, and holistic stuff. And they've really taken that away from everybody. They've really removed that idea from people's minds and think that, we need this man to save us. Who's going to save me? Which doctor's going to save me? What medications are he going to give me? And really, I've been trying to, talk about it for years now, that if you've got a headache, if you've got a stomach ache, if you're not shitting right, excuse my language, but if there's some sort of gut issue you're having, it's because of most likely your diet and your exercise, and yet there's pills out there and all this medication and these constant commercials you see all day long on TV trying to give you some pill to mask that symptom to where you just remain sick and you keep paying money to big pharma. So I'm happy there's people out there like you that are trying to teach people that there's another natural way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because those things, a headache, runny nose, dry skin, those are warning signals, that you are going down, the wrong path, a downward spiral kind of thing,
Right.
and that you need to increase your nutrition and increase your health, and that's exactly right. Taking an aspirin or Advil or antibiotic is just like putting a piece of tape over the check engine light on your dashboard,
Right.
and the car is just going to get worse and worse. Your body's just going to get worse and worse. And
Absolutely. It may.
so some of the things we'll just go over real quick that people come to CBD for are like for discomfort, inflammation in the body. Inflammation is known to cause all kinds of different things. All kinds of different disease processes. Discomfort, and if we could get rid of inflammation, it could help a lot of stuff. Worry and stress. Just worry and stress on its own, but worry and stress, if you could relieve that, can relieve a lot of physical things too, right? Rehab and recovery, like either from injuries or surgeries or workouts and things like that. Like working out, quick, you recover quicker, better, more completely, all that kind of stuff. And then clarity and confidence. It's a weird unintended side effect of the CBD. It just you when you get healthier, just period, because we don't just have CBD, we have other minerals and things like that, that go alongside of it. We call it lifestyle optimization. But when you actually start to get healthier, you start to see things more clearly, and I call it breaking out of the eggshell, so you could actually see things for what they are, and then you start to understand, oh, maybe there is something to this food and getting healthy this way, and those medications really don't make sense, and all those commercials are like, what is going on here? It starts to wake you up. It's really cool.
And as far as rehab and recovery, I mean, this is coming from somebody who knows what he's talking about. You're a power lifter, right, with some titles and awards?
Yeah, I've won nationals twice, and I got second place in the worlds, and set 6 state records here in California. Yeah, yeah. So,
Nice.
so yeah, and I've gotten injured over
Yeah, I'm sure.
the time and everything like that. So I understand, recovery and injury and all that kind of stuff, so firsthand. So that's one of the good things about about our products and things like that is, uh, I'm the tester for it. Like if I stop, this is one of the things that's really interesting and important with me is if I stop taking the cannabinoids, then my vision starts to break apart after just 24 hours, and I'll go blind in less than a week.
Wow.
So I really depend on this stuff, and I depend on the quality. That's why our company is known as having the best out there, because I'm literally the test subject, the guinea pig.
Right.
So and I've been working with both with holistic health and cannabis since 1987. So I'm able to understand, and I work directly with the farmers and walk their farms and make sure that they are biodynamic, and using organic farming principles and everything. It's really cool.
Nice. Yeah, very important. I know my local farmer here, just gotten to know him recently because the local farmers market shut down for this year because of Corona, of course. So reached out to him, and now we go directly to him. And it's great to see the farm. They don't use any machinery out there. They don't use any pesticides, obviously, anything like that. It's great to know your farmer for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think farm stands and things like that are going to start to become a thing again. It's going to start to be cool. But yeah, so this is why I call the CBD, and holistic health, your missing link to vibrant health and mental clarity, So let's get into the presentation about the CBD and the endocannabinoid system and stuff like that. When I first started, in holistic health, I help people to overcome and manage, a variety of conditions, with food. And, in college and, in chiropractic school and, just in my studies, I always talked about these different systems in the body and these 7 systems that deal with health. And we have created a cleansing and detoxification program called the 21-Day Reset. And it helped people to overcome all kinds of crazy stuff with just food. and it was really, really awesome. And
Where can people
I was
find where can people
excuse me?
find that? Where can people find that if they're interested in that? Because I know a lot of people that are into that idea of really a detox. So you have a 21-day reset that is just based around eating healthy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's all based on food. There are like obviously some CBD and some minerals that you can take, but it's literally all based on food. And I've been doing it for over 15 years, so like since before Movida. So we just introduced the CBD in 2016, to the 21-day reset.
Nice.
So yeah, it's so awesome. It resets and reformats your internal hard drive, and it wakes you up so you could actually see things for what they are. It's so awesome. It's going to be on. We're redoing the website right now, so it's going to be on there. We do it live streamed now. We used to do it in person, but right now we're doing our first live stream, and it's going to be in about 3 weeks. We're gonna start it. So I'll let you know about it, but it's
Okay.
going to be on the website too.
No, that's something I would be interested in for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, so when we first started out, said, hey, there's these 7 systems in the body, and the 21-day reset took care of all those 7 systems, the lymphatic systems, digestive system, all these different systems. But like there was something missing for me, right? And I was like, what's going on? I'm still losing my vision here. Other people are getting all this success. And then, we learned that there's actually an endocannabinoid system, right? There's not just cannabinoids, and there's not just these things that actually can help, but there's actually an endocannabinoid system, right? And what I learned in college is that if you do not feed any of the systems in your body, then there is going to be a deficiency, and you are going to malfunction. You're not going to function properly. So since the time that basically that it was banned, right? The health has declined. Sickness, disease, mental state, cancer, diabetes, all that stuff has increased rapidly since 1937, since cannabis was banned. So that's a big deal. So when I found out there was an endocannabinoid system, it's like, okay, what does this system do? Is it actually a thing? And it was highly documented, and it was surprising. So then I went into the history of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this little slide is very telling, okay? Because once people understand this, they could sort of understand what's going on. This was made before the coronavirus thing, so that's not in here. But back 2900 BC, like 3000 BC basically, and they say even as much as 5000 BC in China, they found cannabis oils, right? Not just hemp, not just like fabric and things like that. This chart right here is cannabis as therapies, right? Being used, right? So they found cannabis oils 2900 BC, and they were actually active cannabinoids too, that they were still active. But it originated in China, and then right around 2900 BC, it made its way over to India, where they have like their Ayurveda and all that kind of stuff. And then it stayed there for a long time in China and India. And then around 1500, it made its way over to Europe. And the doctors started using it in concentrated forms and prescribing it for a variety of things. And then, it was brought over here into the United States, prior to it becoming the United States around 1750. And it was used by doctors and prescribed for a variety of things, like all kinds of stuff. And, farmers were actually required to grow hemp because it was used for all kinds of things. It was used for feed for cattle. It was used for for fabric and for fuel, to make ethanol and all these different things.
Right.
So that's one of the things too, is when people say like, hey, people weren't smoking weed before and they weren't taking cannabis oils and all kinds of stuff. Well, there actually were cannabis oils that were prescribed by doctors, but not everybody was taking those prescriptions, right? They were getting hemp, they were getting cannabinoids in their diet though, because the feed that the animals of the livestock was eating was hemp. It was all hemp.
Right.
So they're eating that they're ingesting the hemp, the cannabinoids. It's becoming part of them, part of their milk, part of their meat, part of their systems, and then the people ate that, they ingested it, and they had low levels of it in them. So they actually did have it in them until it was banned.
Right. So almost everybody then would have had it in their system prior to 1937. You're saying because if you basically had any land or did any growing at all, you were required to grow it, right?
Yeah, at least 20% of your crops had to be hemp.
Right.
So then, so then you fast forward into the early 1900s, and in California, around 1907, there was like migrant workers coming from Mexico, and working in the fields, and they were bringing marijuana with them, and that was the first time that people were seeing it used recreationally. Okay, and prior to that, it was just medicine, and used for like fabric and whatever, industrial purposes. But the Mexican guys, the migrant farm workers, were bringing it over and smoking it, and it was labeled wacky tobacco, right? And I'm part Hispanic, by the way, so just know that. But so it got demonized, right? Marijuana got demonized, and it was also sort of a racial thing, became sort of that, with the Hispanic and black and all this kind of thing, and the jazz and all these different things, and the speakeasies. So California was actually the first state to ban cannabis. You would think that would be the last state, but it was actually the first state. I think it was 1907 or 1913, right around when the Federal Reserve was formed. But yeah, so right around then, and then from then till about 1937, there was like there was some discussion, with some higher ups, like especially like the Rockefellers and those kind of people, that talking about banning the cannabis because of it was ruining what was emerging as the cotton industry, because of the fabric and stuff like that. And the Rockefellers were coming out with their pharmaceuticals, right? And pharmaceuticals were actually petroleum based. So just real quick, if you have plant-based solutions to something that help you to overcome a condition, then that can't be patented because it came from nature, right? That's not desirable to a corporation, because they want to be able to patent things and make all the money. So the petroleum is something that can be patented. So when they started to mimic the herbs and things like that from homeopathy and from different kinds of other kinds of different kinds of solutions out there, and they would mimic them with the pharmaceuticals and make petroleum-based versions, and they could patent that and make money off of that. And when they got good enough at it, they started just demonizing everything else.
Right.
Everything. The only solution right now is vaccines, and everything else is demonized. Even doctors that are saying blah blah blah, like they're demonizing the doctors, like screw your degrees, screw everything. You don't make any sense. They demonized cannabis and hemp the same way, right? Back then, and started coming out with all these propaganda, films and things like that. And they actually asked 42 high-level doctors in right around 1935-36 if they should ban marijuana. And like 41 out of the 42 said no. It was either 40 or 41 out of the 42 said no, like all but one or two. And they banned it anyways. and it was because of that, because hemp is way stronger than cotton, and it grows quicker than cotton, and it doesn't need any pesticides or herbicides or fungicides. It just grows naturally. Cotton needs all kinds of different care, and it's not as strong as hemp either, so it wears out quicker, all this kind of stuff. But the cotton moguls wanted hemp out, right? hemp could also be used to create ethanol and different kinds of fuels. So, petroleum industry wanted that out. And then hemp was also used for pharmaceuticals. The pharmaceutical industry wanted that out. Rockefellers had a big deal with that, right? And so from 1937, fast forward, there was increase in everything: cancer, diabetes, things like autism, all kinds of stuff like that, right? So if you look at for autism, just as an example, I think 1940s, late 1940s, there was 1 in 14,000 that had autism, right? 1 in 14,000. And then especially when vaccines started to come into play more and more, that rapidly declined. To 1970s, it was 1 in whatever, like a smaller, just like 1,000 or so, and then today it's like 1 in 50, right? And it's declining rapidly. It's crazy how quickly they're trying to say that they're trying to be able to detect it better, and that's all BS. From 1 in 14,000 to 1 in 50, that's something going on. That's a rapid decline in health, and that's just one thing. Look at cancer. Look at I'm 54, and I graduated high school in 1984. I went to elementary school in the 70s, and stuff like that. And I didn't know anybody personally that had diabetes. I didn't know any. There was one kid that was born with, had cancer, and died early, whatever. But that was it. That was the only person. There was nobody in my family that had cancer, and now everybody knows, like 1 in 3 people, whatever, 1 in 2. It's nuts how fast everything has, all the disease is proliferated, and how used to it people have gotten, right? Sickness and disease should not be there.
Right, and it's become like a way of life now. It's like the new normal, right? The new normal is everybody has autism, everybody has cancer.
Yeah, and health is not the absence of sickness and disease. It's actually living a vibrant life that you look forward to. Where you have the energy and confidence to take on the day. It's much more than just not being sick. Right. So, because we were put on this earth for more, right?
Yeah, like absolutely. And the other thing about hemp too, I mean, can't hemp be used to make a biodegradable plastic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah. There's hempcrete that like it's super strong, to make buildings out of, and hemp grows so rapidly, there's no, and it could actually, if you have soil that's contaminated, it could help decontaminate the soil.
Jeez.
If it's in good soil, it'll help that soil to flourish and not have erosion, and just do crop after crop after crop without erosion. It's so awesome, the benefits of hemp.
It can basically do everything except for make Big Pharma rich, and so
yeah. yeah
right.
Yeah, and the petroleum industry, everything.
Right.
So one of the big things is, CBD versus THC and other cannabinoids, So we have an endocannabinoid system, and there's over, I think 113 or more cannabinoids that they've identified in the lab, right? So THC is basically the most prominent. It's the one that's psychoactive once it's activated. By itself, when it's just in the plant, it's not psychoactive. But once you apply heat to it, such as smoking it, it will get psychoactive, right? CBD, that doesn't happen to CBD and other cannabinoids either. They're THC and CBD are the ones that are most prominent, so they're the ones that are most talked about. But there are other ones like CBC, CBG, CBN, and we have those in our full spectrum oils because there is a benefit, and it just has that. It has to do with that holistic kind of a thing. That's where I come from. Holistic is like meaning the whole of the plant. So isolating molecules and isolating the CBD away from the THC, so there's none of that there. That's what we first had to do because we're pioneers in the CBD industry. We didn't just come into it later. We've been working with it, since before all the hype. We actually we're one of some of the first people that actually, hey, there is something benefit to this specific cannabinoid, and then we started isolating it and testing it out on hundreds and hundreds of people for a variety of different things, and actually found the benefits, right? Because we had found them with the THC. And that's what I originally started on, and then we were able to make better versions with the CBD and with the full spectrums that are high CBD and just trace amounts of the others, right? So CBD is so exciting because it has so many benefits, but it's not psychoactive. And if you have it in an isolated format, in a supplement, then you don't test positive, and so there's first responders and police officers, and we even have a SEAL regimen that takes our stuff because the pure crystalline, because they get the benefit and they don't test positive for the THC. None of our stuff gets you high. None of the full spectrum gets you high because it's so low of amounts of the other stuff. But there is benefit in just the CBD by itself. That's one big question too, is like you hear that you need the others, and the others do have benefit. So if you have them all, there can be greater benefit because that's just more nutrition. But by itself, there is benefit. We want to clear that up too, because that is one of the big questions. But all the cannabinoids do have some benefit because that it's basic plant nutrition, and we'll get into the rest of the full spectrum stuff a little later, but I just wanted to clear that up. That there are a bunch of cannabinoids, over 100 of them. CBD is one of them. THC is one of them. They all have benefit, but CBD does not get you high. Okay. So that's some of the questions that we hear a lot is, what is CBD? Is it legal? Is it safe? Will it get me high? We just answered that one. It doesn't. And we said, it's one of the cannabinoids that's found in the cannabis or hemp plant. Cannabis and hemp plants are basically the same. It's just like in legal speak, a cannabis plant is high THC and a hemp plant is high CBD, but they're basically, from the same kind of families and things like that, right? Mm-hmm. Is it legal? And hemp is legal, right, in the United States. So, so all the different hemp clothing, hemp fabrics, hemp oils and things like that are just straight hemp oil derived from the cannabis plant that's unadulterated. That's generally legal. And then the CBD is still in a slight gray area, but the FDA has said that that all commerce, it could be used, and sold, basically like a supplement, in all 50 states, as long as that state is okay with it. And even the United States Postal Service said, we can mail it. The flight authorities, whatever they're called, said that we could fly it across, from state to state, all that stuff. So it is legal. And as far as safety, we often say there's no side effects. There's only side benefits with it. It improves so many things, and we'll talk about why that is. It's not that it improves anything. It just gets you into balance, and we'll talk about that in a second. Is that making sense so far?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the questions I've had people ask a lot, or you've heard people say a lot, is that nobody's ever died from marijuana. Is the same thing true about CBD?
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
And I've taken massive amounts, because of, because I actually, had to overcome something huge, right?
Right.
And I've actually had some hiccups along the way, and like supply chain hiccups and things like that we've perfected along the way. But in the beginning states, so I've had some things to overcome and stuff like that. But so I've taken massive amounts for long periods of time, like over 1,000 milligrams a day for months and months and months at a time, and I've been taking it consistently, CBD specifically, for over 6 years, and cannabis oils in these high doses for over 7 years straight. And like I said, I can't go more than 24 hours without it, or else I start to break down. So some people say that you need to, clean out your system or whatever, and this and that. It's like you need water every day, you need food every day, all these kinds of stuff. There's certain things, there's certain nutrients that you need to absolutely live vibrantly, and CBD is one of them. We call it an essential nutrient, right? And something that your body can't create on its own, but is essential to living a healthy, vibrant life. That's what essential nutrients actually mean. So, what CBD and what cannabis period actually does is it creates homeostasis in the body. And when I was in college, in undergraduate and postgraduate, and you took any kind of biology class, the missing link was always homeostasis. Like they're always striving to achieve homeostasis. Your cells are always striving to achieve homeostasis. And in science and in the lab, they're trying to figure out how to help the cells do that because they're not fully able to do that. And it's easy to side rail or derail the body to where it starts, going into, disease process. So, and they couldn't understand why that was happening at faster and faster rates. And homeostasis basically is providing balance in your body. So without it, there's going to be higher levels of something and lower levels of something, and whatever it is, that imbalance is going to cause you to malfunction. And different people, they'll malfunction differently, right? So with me, it's glaucoma. With somebody else, it could be diabetes. With somebody else, it could be cancer. With somebody else, it could be, anxiety, depression, just different things. And the further down the path you are of disease, unhealth, it could manifest differently. It could start off as stress and anxiety and turn into, something, like cancer or like lupus or whatever, and things like that, So it's that imbalance that, creates that. So there's an endocannabinoid system in your body, right? And if you go back to this slide right here, what is pretend that these yellow lines are the endocannabinoid system. And then there's cannabinoid receptors along those lines, okay? And these little leaves, what I say, are the cannabinoid receptors. And in order for your body to function, like and have all the nutrition and all the different things that you're feeding it, in order for it to function properly, this pathway, that yellow line, has to be unblocked. So if you don't have cannabinoids inside of you to feed the cannabinoid receptors, it's like locking doors, so or having gates during this pathway, like a toll road. So feeding these little toll roads or whatever, and unlocking the gates allows homeostasis to happen, allows your body to function properly, and it allows you to not go into disease process if you're healthy, and helps you to start overcoming different kinds of conditions that you may have if you are unhealthy, to where you start to get back towards health. We call it getting on the path towards vibrant health. And so you not only feed them once or feed them for a few months, but you have to consistently feed your endocannabinoid system, just like you need to consistently feed the other 7 systems in your body. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah. What are the other 7?
Well, there's like the lymphatic system, the digestive system. There's those different systems.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So they all work in concert, and this is just and the endocannabinoid system is sort of like it sort of links everything together. It's really interesting, and it actually could penetrate into all the different systems because it's it's fat soluble, so it can actually get into your lymphatic system and travel around that way. It gets into your bloodstream and and goes around that way. It's really awesome in what it could do and how it could enter your system. It could enter your system topically too. It can go into your bloodstream that way. It's really cool.
Yeah, I've actually just seen recently a lot of the information coming out about the importance of oils in the functioning of your body and how important that all is. And it's like keeping an engine lubed, and it's something interesting. So I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. So yeah, one real quick thing about that, you'll see water soluble CBD out there, and that's one of the things where I say people have good intentions and they say it's more bioavailable, like your body can absorb more of it and things like that. And it's one of those things where it's a fat soluble substance, and that's how it was in nature. That's the way like God made it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And
it was made that way for a reason. And just because you could make something water soluble doesn't mean that it's a good idea. Like Chris Rock back in the day said, just because you could drive a car with your feet doesn't mean you should, right? So if you make it water soluble, then it can't enter your lymphatic system, and your lymphatic system is key with preventing you from going into disease processes, especially the cancer and things like that. So having it in oils, having it is number one, it's attracted into oils, right? And number two, when you have it in the oils, it tells your body to create the release bile salts, and have that go into your digestive system, and it'll start to break everything down, put it into your bloodstream, and then and actually help it to enter your lymphatic system and travel around that way. And that's one of the reasons why it has so much benefit. So there is a slight benefit that you can have with a water soluble, but it's minimal. And that's why our stuff has a much greater effect, because we're aware of these situations, and we understand, there is an actual hemp oil, and then there's other carrier oils that we use that actually help to speed up the process and to maximize the absorption of the CBD or other cannabinoids that you're actually introducing into your body. Okay, because all that makes a difference. What the oil itself, the carrier oil used, whether it was fat soluble, water soluble, all that kind of stuff matters, not just having CBD. Just like protein and fats and carbs, it's not how much of each one you should have. What type is, that's the first thing you think about. What type of protein, what type of carb, what type of fat, and then talk about the amounts, right? So there's with our company, there's 100 different touch points or more, and they all matter. Like you can't have one not be there, or else you have degradation of product. Gotcha. So, and that's where the 34 years of experience comes in. So, how can CBD help me? There's a variety of ways that people use it to help them, and a variety of ways we've seen it help people. So. It's like soothes discomfort, reduces inflammation without side effects. So that's the big deal. People take, things to, overcome different things, especially inflammation, and there's a ton of side effects that come along with it, and oftentimes there's like minimal to no relief at all. You're just taking something because there's nothing else to do. You don't know what else, you feel hopeless and helpless, right? So we found that it does help with that, and like we said, recovering quicker, better, more completely from workouts and injury and different chronic conditions. The capsules and drops, they can help you get relief, by putting your body into that homeostasis. By the way, the capsules and drops, we call that like a primary line of defense, like the first line of defense, and then the topicals and the microdosing things that people do, like vaping and stuff like that, is more of a secondary form that supports the capsules and drops. But the capsules and drops are the main thing. We'll get into that a little later, but that's a big deal. Did you have a question?
Nope.
Okay, so just real quick, there's an example. There's a family that I got introduced to a while back with it, and getting some feedback for some reason a little bit. But as far as the soothe and reduce inflammation without side effects, the Brooks family, I was introduced from they're teachers, all of them, and they work with nonprofits and things like that. But I was first introduced to the sister. She had awesome results, and then she introduced me to her brother Ruben, and he was in a position where he's only like 60 years old. He can't ride his bike anymore. He can't do a lot of stuff, and he got some stuff from us, our capsules and our rolling relief, and just within a matter of weeks, like a couple of weeks, he was able to ride his bike and do things. And he sent me like this, an email saying, "Hey, I got my life back. We got people to get up off the sidelines and back in the game of life." And he got his life back just because it helped to reduce that inflammation and help him to function. And so his brother had some stuff going on, and his brother actually lives near me, and was like, "Hey, can you help him out?" So he just gave him the same stuff, right? Similar to what him and his sister were taking. And his brother was actually going to have a hip surgery, but he had some stuff going on at the nonprofit that he worked for, and wanted to see if he could just have something to help soothe, and not do the Advil, because he was taking so many Advil, right? And he was just worried about his liver and damaging that, and getting worse. And, so he had the surgery planned for a few months out, and he started taking Movida. And a long story short, like a year and a half later, he still is putting that surgery out. He's like, I don't know if I have to have that surgery anymore. And the doctor's saying the same thing, So that's an example of that happening, in real life. And we have, tons and dozens of things like that, So another thing that an unintended consequence or side effect, beneficial side effect of it, the CBD and cannabinoids was, seeing people, with it lifting the spirits, without a psychoactive head change, and I first even noticed it in myself because I'm an introvert, I'm very shy, and, I don't like confrontation and things like that. Even though I'm a power lifter, and super strong, but I just like to keep to myself, and I'm able to promote CBD and the great value that it has, and do these kinds of presentations because there's something where I have this confidence now. I just had a clear head of what I need to do in life, basically, and I don't have any doubts about it. There's a second guessing, it ruins people, and I call this stuff like an entrepreneur's secret weapon, because you're able to make decisions without second guessing yourself, and it's so awesome. And I say you have the same problems, but you basically become bigger than your problems, right? Right. And it's just so awesome, and it's basically that homeostasis and creating balance within your body. Does that make sense?
Nice. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I know exactly where you're coming from with some of that stuff. That sometimes once you find the truth, it makes presenting it much easier. So seems like that's what you found here with CBD.
Right on. Yep. So an example of that is the attorney on staff at our sister company, Pure Health Defenders. She's highly educated, a strong Christian woman, right? Lives in South County over here, and a good upbringing. And she was, taught, cannabis is basically, the devil's the devil's lettuce or whatever, kind of thing. Right. And she was just so, skeptical of it, when I became part of the PhD family, the Pure Health Defenders. And, we always have people, take our stuff because we want them to be true believers, if we're going to work with people. So, even their attorney, she was there at the meeting. So I gave her a bottle of our dropper, and she was like, okay, I'll try this out. I believe our founders, they believe in you, whatever. And she came back to me 2 weeks later at the next meeting. She goes, I took a drop, and I was like, she was like so proud of herself. I took a drop. I'm doing like a drop every day. I was like, a drop really wasn't doing anything really, but like, but good job, like you need to take a little bit more than one drop, not a dropper, but just one drop, right? But so she suffers from panic attacks and like like anxiety, depression, stress, and everything. And she was even shut in for like a year one time, she said. And she goes, I'm a normal person. I'm college educated. I'm an attorney, but I get stuck, and I don't know what to do. I've been on medication since I was 5 years old, and now I'm on a cocktail, of anxiety meds, antidepressants, all these different things to help me sleep and have energy, and I just hate it. And so fast forward a little bit, she was like, hey, I've been off my medication for 3 days. And a little while later, I've been off medication for 30 days, and then doctor approved, she came off all her medication. And I just talked to her about a week and a half ago because she's getting things for her family because of the coronavirus thing. So she's buying a bunch of stuff because people are shut in, and she's like, I've been off my Klonopin and all my other medications for over a year and a half now. She goes, and she's like, this is so awesome. And she said, I asked her to do a testimonial a while back, and she was like, I'm an attorney, I can't do that, blah, 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 this and that. And that was her anxiety, right? That was just speaking. And like about 4 months after I had asked her that, she came to a live event that was in South County that I was doing. And she literally got up, stopped me, and gave like a testimonial in front of everybody saying, hey, I'm an attorney. So if anybody's recording this, I do not consent, but here's my story. And like she had the confidence, and just get up in front of a room of strangers. That was like total difference from that meeting way back months earlier. Just so awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen a lot of positive reviews. I was looking at some stuff, and it seems I don't find anything negative about CBD, which is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, for sure. And then and that enhanced mood and mental clarity, because that's the overcoming that other stuff, but the mental clarity and stuff, I noticed it in myself, and one of the first people that came on with our company was this producer that does she's been like with Jeranism's Garage and Ice Road Truckers and Storage Wars, like 26 docu-series kind of shows that have won Emmy Awards and things like that. She's also a street artist. I work a lot with artists. That's how I met her. But she latched onto my story, and she's actually making a documentary on my story, because it's compelling. And I put her on our stuff, on our products, because we want everybody to be a true believer. And I told her about that mental clarity thing and, just having confidence. And we were doing a thing called the Street Art Fair in Los Angeles, and I was helping her out with her booth, getting it ready. And it was 1 a.m. The thing was the next day, right? And we were hopping in the elevator to go down and bring up some more equipment. And she was like, hey, Al, I want to tell you something. She goes, that thing you were saying about the mental clarity and feeling good inside your own skin and just not worrying about stuff. She goes, I understand that now. She goes, I didn't believe you before, but right now, because I'm an artist, it's 1 a.m. We are not near completed. I would be freaking out right now because the show's tomorrow, but for some reason, I know it's going to be done. I know everything's going to be fine, and I don't know who this person is. So it was awesome, right? So that's why we call it the missing link. It's something your body requires on a daily basis to operate at the utmost optimal levels, right? And you can, that's the one thing that we want to, the message you want to, give to your audience and just the general public is you can operate at the utmost optimal levels. Being healthy is not the absence of sickness and disease. It is being able to wake up and having the confidence, and the energy to take on the day, and looking forward to that, not hammering down the snooze button as many times as you can.
Right. How long do you think it takes to have those kind of results on some of this stuff? Is that something people you think would see right away? Is it something that takes 2 months? What's your I don't know, history of that? What have you seen with some of your patients?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So with it's two things. So most people or about half the people, they'll feel it right away, like even on that first day. Like this is something that's been missing. They'll just feel something, right? Either bodily, either body wise or mental wise, and but for sure, like after like that 10 days to 2 weeks kind of thing, that's for sure where you'll know what's going on.
Wow.
Okay, so it's pretty quick. It's like so. For instance, there's this one woman. She had that like anxiety kind of thing. Same thing. She's been on as the PhD attorney. She was on medications since 5 years old, but she's also a bikini competitor, a pro bikini competitor. So she's a high level competitive athlete, and she's like she has teenage daughters here in Orange County that play sports, and like she's just a super high stress woman, and she was like her husband asked her to take it because he wanted to carry it in his medical supply store, and they're highly regulated, So he was like, okay, this is the one, but I want you to try it. This is just to see if it works. I hear good things about it. And she goes, no, it's BS. I don't believe in CBD. They're hardcore Christian family too. They're like, she's like, I don't want that. I don't want that in my life, right? And she goes, it's nothing more than a multivitamin anyways, that even if it does something. So he's all, please take it. So she took it, 2 days, 3 days, nothing. He goes, please keep on taking it. He says this to take it for 10 days to 2 weeks, whatever. After 1 week, this is BS. I don't feel anything. After about 10 or 11 days, I got a phone call from her, saying like, hey, I was just at this park, water park with 12 teenage girls, all day, by myself, only parent, and they asked me if I can go to Knott's Berry Farm across the street for the evening, and I said yes. And I was like, wait a minute, who is this woman? Because I would normally want to be wanting to go home and have a glass of wine, So like her mental state was just changed, and her recovery from workouts, all this different thing was just on fire, and she just became like an ambassador for us.
Wow.
So yeah. The one thing about this stuff is the longer you take it, the better you get. So that mental game, you'll feel like certain things, like you'll start to feel like better, but the actual that hardcore confidence and feeling good inside your own skin, that just becomes more solid and more concrete the longer that you take this stuff. It's really, really cool. It's awesome. So let's see. So like. One of the big questions too is, how do you use CBD, the methods of ingestion? And I sort of touched on that a little bit. And what I like to talk about it like in primary and secondary kinds of forms of attack, right? And so the capsules and the tinctures are what I call your primary method of attack, and that's where you take something in the morning and in the evening. I personally have seen the best results, and I like to take it morning and evening, at least. If you have like some kind of condition you're trying to overcome, you could take it more often, like 3 times a day or whatever, but morning and evening as opposed to once a day, just like you eat more than once a day kind of thing, then it's that having that flow works better, even if you're taking like 60 milligrams total per day, chopping it up 30 and 30 as opposed to 60 at once will have a much greater effect. So doing it in capsule and tincture, you can accomplish those kind of doses, and the capsule is actually the easiest, because it's a measured dose, but the tinctures, you could vary doses, so you could go, titrate up or down, depending on your personal, biology and things like that, how your body reacts to it and things like that. So the capsules and tinctures, that's your primary form, and then your secondary forms are topicals and vape, and also tinctures. So the capsule and tincture taken at either end of the day, I call that like a primary dose or a macro dose, right? And then the other things like topicals and vapes, and you could also use a tincture in this form too, and what we call a micro dose, or taking a which is basically what it sounds like, a smaller dose. So you usually would do that during the middle of the day, and it sort of supports the macro dose or the primary dose that you're doing on either end of the day. It sort of kicks those in, and micro doses are used like on an as needed basis usually. Just like if you have any kind of a flare up, so it could be some kind of a flare up, from a old injury or some kind of thing like that, or some kind of condition, or from the effects of a workout or an excursion you went on, or some kind of mental thing, like that you might, like some kind of stress or a phone call with that person that takes your soul, or if you're doing a presentation like this, any kind of thing, where you need to smooth out, you could do little microdose things that could help to smooth out, kick in those doses from either end of the day and go on with your day. But those microdoses are done on an as needed basis. The primary doses that are done every day without fail. Those are the differences between the two, and that's the difference between the modes. So like if I were to just vape or try to just use topicals, that I couldn't get the results that I'm looking for what I need, for my situation, right? And most people, they'd be able to get some, but not that fully overcome and manage and get into vibrant health, right? Because that's what my company is about, is not helping you to just overcome things, but actually get into vibrant health. So where you have that, where you're looking forward to the day and can think clearly and see things for what they are. So I'm not sure if you asked that before. Does it have side effects? But no, it has side benefits. And then, which product is best for you? Like I get asked a lot too. These questions that I have here are questions that we hear all the time, and that's one of the reasons reformatting the website is to actually answer those questions along the way. We do give free consultations, and we have like videos that describe all of our product lines and stuff like that, which it makes us unique too. Because we do those free consultations, but just to know what product is best for you, it helps to understand that there is primary and secondary forms, and that if you are trying to overcome and manage or just have a healthy, vibrant life and incorporate this stuff in, that you need to do it daily. Even if it's a small dose, you need to do it daily, and the capsules and the tinctures are the way to go with that, right?
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And I tell people to do their own research on it, because I was looking into it, or talk to others, I guess, who have taken it, because I've seen so many benefits that it's really why I wanted to have you on. As I said, could it really do all of this? And it's looking like you're saying a lot of that, because I've heard the anxiety and depression, and it helps people with sleep and rejuvenating skin, and helps with arthritis and lowers blood sugar. So many things. And then I've also seen people say some extraordinary claims about helping with epilepsy, reducing seizures, and I saw slows Parkinson's, and slows Alzheimer's, dementia. It's just crazy kind of cure-all that a lot of people are finding in this product. So amazing.
Yeah, and that all goes back to the homeostasis thing, right? So so again, we're not claiming to diagnose, treat, or cure, or prevent any illness or disease, but what you were just talking about, it went from mild to wild, right? From minor things to really devastating things that can cause death,
Right.
And those are just basically like those check engine and warning signals along the way, and providing that homeostasis, just allows your body to function properly, and you can't be sick and function properly, so you're going to get back towards vibrant health. Same thing with being overweight, as you get more towards health, your weight just naturally will normalize and get into a desirable weight. You can't be overweight and healthy at the same time either.
Right.
So it does that all just makes sense. Everything we do is simple. So we found a simple approach. Instead of trying to attack the problems that are manifesting and showing themselves, we understand here that that's just your body malfunctioning, and there's only a certain amount of functions in your body. Which of those functions need to be addressed? Oh, it's the endocannabinoid system. Let's feed that one, and 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 let your body function properly. Most people need help with the other systems too. And that's why we have our 21-day reset and our AWOL way of life programs and things like that, because we are a complete solution. We have products, programs, protocols, and community support to help you get on and stay on the path towards vibrant health.
Mm-hmm.
So another big question that we have is, will I test positive with CBD products? And that is a huge, huge deal, right? So we have a pure crystalline line, which is just CBD. It's the isolated CBD molecule. So we get the CBD oil that has the variety of cannabinoids and terpenes and flavonoids. Terpenes are like the essential oil of the plant. Chlorophyll, all these different beneficial components. But we can isolate the CBD by itself, and it has benefit, that's been seen, through hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, right? So, but that isolated molecule does not test positive for THC, right? So, and that's with I could only make that claim with Movida, because we've had it tested, and we have like hundreds and hundreds of first responders of all different kinds that take our products and get tested regularly, teachers that get tested regularly and do not come up positive, right? We have not had one since we've started our company. So on the other side, there are some companies though that they don't know how to isolate the molecule properly, so there is still trace amounts of things in there. So there are other companies that sell quote unquote, pure crystalline CBD, and people have tested positive with that. So, so I can't make that claim for everybody's company, but for ours, we do make that claim of people not testing positive with our pure crystalline CBD products. With the full spectrum, though, there is a trace amount of THC in there, plus the other cannabinoids. So you don't get high. There's no change in your mood. It doesn't make you sleepy. It doesn't impair your judgment, but it actually helps you to have more clarity. But there is possibility that you can test positive because it is in there. So and to tell you the truth, I've never had anybody come back saying, "Hey, I tested positive," blah blah blah. Because we do provide that information to people, but also, there is like such a minuscule amount that it really shouldn't test positive, but it is in there, so it is possible. So if your job depends, like if your family depends on your job, then I would take pure crystalline CBD. Right. That's a deal. So that's one of the first questions we ask. When people during our consultations, is does your job depend, or are you? Does your benefits depend? Like, do you get VA benefits and things like that? Where if you test positive, you'll get them taken away. So we're mindful of those things. So we help you navigate and do the best you can for the situation that you're in, because we understand that, especially right now, people can't just leave their job and get another one with just like that. Right. So, but that's one of the reasons why we call ourselves the Clear Choice in CBD, is because we understand a lot of these different things. We understand the questions that people have. We've dealt with them. I've dealt with, I deal with, the, needing purity and quality every single day, and it's a big deal to me, So we sort of just went over, the difference between the pure crystalline and the full spectrum. The pure crystalline is just the CBD by itself, the isolated molecule, and the full spectrum has, at least our full spectrum has some full spectrum is just cannabinoids, but our full spectrum has the all the stuff that was naturally occurring in the plant. So it has the CBD, it has the other trace amounts of the other cannabinoids that are naturally in there, including THC, CBC, and CBG, which are all very, very important. And then it has the flavonoids, and the essential oils, has some chlorophyll, other things in there. So it's that holistic whole plant nutrition, right? Because that's what I am. I'm a holistic health practitioner. So, like our belief is that, the plant has everything in it to help you process through and just donate nutrition to your body and not rob your body of any nutrition, right? So like when you take a medication, or when you eat a refined food, that's been stripped of all, like a refined food that's been stripped of all its nutrition, then your body has to donate a bunch of nutrients in order to process through it.
Right.
And that actually could lower your immune system, or actually does lower your immune system, right? That's why eating healthy whole foods could actually strengthen your immune system by not taking away, by adding to it.
Right.
So the same thing with the different forms of CBD is not as radical, because CBD is so powerful. You just take like milligrams of it and not grams of it. So, but pure crystalline CBD, theoretically, your body has to contribute, like some nutrients to process through it, and the full spectrum has everything you need and more. So it actually helps to add that nutrition. That extra added nutrition is building your immune system. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right on. Awesome.
That's the problem with all these processed foods and everything else, is that people don't realize the extra work your body needs to do, and how that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because because a lot of the especially plant-based foods and things like that, and fermented foods, that they have enzymes in there, and friendly bacteria, flora, or probiotics that they call them these days, that actually could help to break down the food, so your body doesn't have to do that, because like creating enzymes takes a lot of work. So those are digestive enzymes, so your body can make those, but if the food can provide them, it's called food enzymes, then it's a great burden that your body doesn't have to undertake, and it could just use all that energy to go repair your body and to build your immune system.
Right.
Because digestion is like the biggest energy thief, and anything you can do to lessen that is going to be added benefit and added health for your body. That's why the 21-day reset and a true cleansing and detoxification program will work, because as every day and every week gives your body or your digestive system more and more of a chance to rest. So all that energy is being saved and utilized in other areas to heal and flourish and prosper your body and your mindset, so you can get connected, even connected to Creator better. So, what our stuff has, it has the cannabinoids and things like that. And like I say, I walk the farms. I go to the farms in Oregon and Colorado, and I walk them, during the springtime right before they plant, and during the fall right before harvest. I actually have dinner with the farmers. We use biodynamic farming principles. Some of our farmers have degrees in soil management, so they actually create this stuff. They don't even buy organic pesticides, because there is organic pesticides. They create everything.
Wow.
Everything is hand sprayed, and just like you were talking about with the farmers that you go to for your fruits and vegetables, it's still done that way, even though these farms are like hundreds of acres, right? They still do it the old-fashioned. The weeds are pulled by hand.
That's
amazing. It's not machined, right?
So important.
So
it's so important.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see it more and more.
Yeah, all that is that connection and vibration from human to plant. There's something of value there,
no doubt.
Right? And then harnessing the energy of the sun. So our stuff isn't from indoor grows. It's sun grown in the ground, so it could pull up the minerals and everything from the ground, from the earth, the different nutrients, and digest them. That's what they call like photosynthesis and stuff. So and what part of that is digesting the minerals that are in the ground, because like the minerals that are in the ground, if you take them that way, then they haven't been digested by the plant, and they can actually have toxic levels built up in your body and have detrimental effects. So that processing, that digestion that they go through in the plant actually makes them bioavailable. So it makes the minerals 100% absorbable, and where you can only get benefit from them. And if you get more than you need of them, then your body will just release them as waste. You don't build up toxic levels. So it's really awesome. So that's really important to have them sun grown in the ground for that reason. Plus the chlorophyll is what the energy from the sun harnessed by the plant and put into a form that your body could readily absorb. So one of the benefits of our full spectrum is it does have a little bit of chlorophyll in there. So you're actually getting the energy of the sun inside of you. Right. It's super awesome.
Yeah, it's super important. And I'm hoping people, please support the farmers that are doing this kind of work in whatever way you can. And 'cause the more we demand it and the more we support those who do, the more it'll become regular. And that stuff's really gone away now. And luckily some people are starting to bring it back.
Yeah, and that's what we call that like a slow food movement and things like that. And with ours, it's it's a seed the jar kind of thing, and with the food it's farm to fork, so it's a really big deal. And even with just buying anything, like these days you vote with your dollars.
Right.
So where you put your money is how you vote, and do you want, are you putting your money with the companies that you complain about?
Right. We call it here, support what you like or it goes away, because if you don't support it, then that stuff goes away. So support the farmers that are doing the good work and don't put your money in the companies that you cry about every day. It's a tough choice to make, but at the same time, it's what's better for you. It's what's better for the world. It's what's better for your family and friends. So hopefully people start to recognize that. And I'm seeing a big change in that. And maybe it's just because it's been my personal, journey over the past few years, is really getting healthy again, finding truth out there. And really, once you see what is important, like you said, it's simple changes in the way that we move or that we eat. And all that can help you stay away from the doctor. And these are things I was never taught. I was taught you get sick, you eat, and you go to the doctor will cure you. So go ahead, you can eat all the McDonald's you want, you can eat all the processed foods you want. This stuff is healthy. If it says fat-free on the bag, this is the healthy kind of cookie. That's the way I was brought up.
Yeah.
So and you grow up and you start to look into these things yourself, and you realize, oh no, the health is the stuff that's grown out of the ground, the stuff that was meant for me to eat, and that's how you repair all the faulty systems in your body. So this is just another one of those.
Yeah, definitely. And and then no harmful preservatives, herbicides, fungicides, pesticides, and all that kind of stuff, aren't put in there. But there's no harmful preservatives in our products either. Like the glass we use for our jars and our dropper bottles, it's a specialized glass that only allows in 2 spectrums of light. It's made by one company in the world, and it preserves things 9 times longer than normal. It's super expensive, but the glass is the preservative. So so there's no harmful preservatives in our oil, or not the carrier oil, and not the cannabis oils. So our carrier oil is a MCT oil. It's derived from coconuts. It's specialized MCT oil because there's different medium chain triglycerides. So we have a conglomeration of them that I feel works best because we tested it on so many people. And the coconuts are hand harvested in the Philippines. And it's also another thing where it's not done by machinery, like the separation of the oil. It's done the old-fashioned way, where they let the cream rise to the top, and it's the way they did it hundreds of years ago. It's really awesome. So everything is thought of, within our company, laboratory tested. We just talked about the packaging components, how that's so important, because at the end of the day, reputation is everything, especially in today's world with the internet, you could Google Al Morentin, Alexander Morentin, 30 years in business, Los Angeles, Orange counties, especially with our, in-person, companies and stuff like that. And then, all over the country and all over the world, helping people and even other health practitioners, and, we put in the utmost care because we care, and, we do not want to stand on our record, And at the end of the day, you remember that I need to see, I depend on this stuff as much or more than anybody. We know it's frustrating. People waste their time and money on trying to find a wellness solution. Even my niece, because your family members, when you own a company, they're the last people to come on board. But my niece, she's already taken our step, and she's like, I've been searching for a wellness solution for over a decade, and I think I finally found it with Movida. Oh my God, and blah blah blah. I love you, everything. It's so cool, But we understand that, there's some people, they have the good, they mean well, but their products suck. Other people are charlatans, and some people just don't know what they're doing because there's so much misinformation. But, what we've found is that this isn't stuff we're guessing at. This is stuff that is tested and tried and true. It took me 17 years to come up with our first product and 7 more years to develop the product line. So we put care into stuff. We don't just do things willy-nilly, and that's why our quality and purity is second to none, So this is one of a clip from our new website. It's not up yet, but there's a bunch of different questions that people have, and we do provide free consultations, and we have intro videos and stuff like that to help people to make the best decisions so they could eliminate the guesswork. That we understand that people want to make the best wellness choice for themselves and their set families, but which one is right for them? We not only provide the best CBD, we provide the product-specific protocols and complementary consultations to address your situation, because there is a CBD product that is right for you, and we can help you find it. That's the big deal. Does that make sense?
It does. I do have a question for you, and this is maybe you don't sell it on your site, and maybe you don't know the answer, but one of the things that I've had trouble finding, because I'm really going to all natural kind of ways of living, and one of the things that I struggle with a little bit is sunscreen, because I am extremely white and if I go out in the sun, especially where I live, today it's I don't know, what is the temperature outside right now? I know it's close to probably 106 is my, let me just look it up here just so I know exactly what I'm talking about. Right now it's 102, it's supposed to be a little bit hotter. It's supposed to get to be about 105, 106 around 3, 4 o'clock. But the sun just destroys me. Is there a good CBD sunscreen, or is that something you haven't really seen?
I could check. One of my friends, he has one. I can check for that to get you the name of it. I could send it to you. We don't have one per se. The sunscreens that are out there are definitely, they're harmful for you.
Right. That's why I have to stay away from it. So I'm always finding myself trying to get out of the sun as soon as possible.
Yeah, and we have this thing called Mend It, which is awesome for burns and cuts, and for even relieving a bunch of stuff, because you have receptors, cannabinoid receptors, your third dermal layer down, so it works at point of contact, anywhere you put it on your body, literally any topicals. But if you do get burned and stuff like that from either fire or from a sunburn, it helps with that to either not have anything or to greatly reduce the effects.
Good to know.
But yeah, so that's basically the whole of the presentation. I want to thank you guys for listening to this and stuff like that. We do have if any of your audience wants to get any products, we have a code that we made for your audience, Jaron20. It gets them 20% off all the products.
Nice.
And it'll be active, because I know this is recorded and it'll be on YouTube's too, so it'll be active, and stuff like that.
Okay, cool.
But we are, be able to answer any questions if there is any questions. But I want to show you guys this again. And one thing too is if anybody buys over $100 worth of stuff, we're going to throw in a free roll-in relief too, which is like a $40 value just in and of itself. And it's pretty cool. It's one of our topicals. A lot of skateboarders and like little pro scooter athletes and stuff like that use it to help them to warm up and stuff like that.
All right, yeah, I didn't have any questions. I wanted to ask you about the sunscreen thing because that's just something I've been thinking about recently. But other than that, no, I think it's good. I mean, I wanted to know about CBD because right now I'm really looking to improve my health every day and add to what I do daily. I've been telling people for a long time that if you look at your health and you think of all the things you have to change, it becomes quite overwhelming, or at least it seems that way. But when you take kind of small steps at a time, which is what I've done. I started with distilled water, and every little step I take is like, let's improve this, let's get rid of fluoride out of my system, let's improve that. And the next one that I've been looking into, because it's natural and which I think is totally important, I'm not going to touch anything that's not, is the truth about CBD and superfoods. You also have a lot of superfoods on the site as well.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot up there right now. We're just putting them up, but we have superfoods. We have these sea minerals that are derived from 7 different sea vegetables.
Oh, nice.
That are proprietary to us. They're from Pure Health Defenders, and we have this MSM. We have spirulina, and like we just got this oatmeal. It's the only truly raw oatmeal that I found in all of North America. It's USA grown. And it's the strain. It's a sativa strain of oatmeal that's naturally gluten-free. It's grown biodynamically without pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides, and it's tested glyphosate-free. Because every oatmeal, even all the organic store-bought oatmeals that I've tested, have tested positive for glyphosate, which is a big deal. So our CBD and our other products are all glyphosate free too, which is a huge, huge, huge deal. I'm a certified speaker through the Institute for Responsible Technology on GMOs and their harm and things like that. So I understand nutrition really, really super well. And yeah.
Good. All right, and just one more time, I'm going to show people, again, all these links are in the description, but first, if you want to check out Al's book on Amazon, Better Living with Whole Foods, you can find that on Amazon, links in the description. Again, you can also go to movitaoils.com, the website. Lots of good information here. I was looking at this earlier today, so definitely some good stuff here if you're interested in purchasing anything that you heard him talking about, or at least checking out the site. And then also he's got a YouTube channel. The link is in the description. He puts out a lot of videos, needs a few more subscribers, so head over there to, you can either go to youtube.com/movitaoils, which is in the description. The name of the channel is Movita CBD and Superfoods. And then also you have the channel MyFitLife as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So people can check
on
out
MyFitLife, that's more of just general health, like you were talking about, and then I could also talk about some conditions and things like that I can't talk about on my Movita site,
Got you. Yeah. So definitely check that out. And then there's also, if you find the not old, but if you look up the Question Everything conference, you can find his presentation from there, which I've seen. It's great. And we did get one super chat during the show from Tobel Pierce, who said, "Hey, y'all, thanks for y'all's work." Yeah, no problem. It's important to me to put out any information that I can that I think will help people. And hopefully if people enjoyed the stream or this presentation, help them in some way, or taking CBD help them, then I think that we've done a good job in some way helping people get healthier. That's really important to me. So that's pretty much it. Did you have any final words you wanted to say before we head out, Al?
No, just thank you very much, and thank you to your audience. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Keep up the good work, Al, by the way. You're doing great work and really seeing a lot of results on your site. I see a lot of people with their reviews and saw some comments on some of your videos. Seems like you're doing great work, and that's what I think's happening, good. That's why I promote some people like this. Anytime I see people doing good work, and think I can help them at all, I reach out and try and do that. And thank you for helping me. I'm definitely going to look at your site and pick something up and start my path on CBD as well, because I think it's the next step. I did a video a couple weeks back on vitamin K2 MK7, which I've started having great results with that. So just kind of adding one thing at a time and moving closer to optimum health and wellness. Thank you to all my patrons who make this all possible. Patreon.com/jeranism if you're interested in supporting that. If you ever want to mail me something, you can do so. P.O. Box 3044, Merced, California, 95344. So I appreciate Al being on. Al, keep up the good work. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, remind everybody to do your own research, because when you do, you'll never again believe what you've been taught. We'll see you guys tomorrow for a Friday lounge. That'll be at 12 noon Pacific. And then Saturday, join us on the Rose 777 channel. We're going to be trying to watch the SpaceX Fake X launch again. So that'll be on Rose 777's channel. We tried watching yesterday, but it got canceled due to weather, of course. So we'll see you guys Saturday for that, and then Sunday for Glowbusters. So busy coming days. We'll see you guys on the other side. Till then, this has been Jeranism and Al Morentin for MovidaOils.com. Talk to you guys soon. Till then, peace.